So, fact file on Tertullian. Name Quintus Septimius Florens Tertullianus, aka Tertullian. Nationality born in Carthage, North Africa. Dates around 160 to 225. Appearance not known, probably grumpy looking. Before he was famous, not known, may have been studying for the law. Famous for writing, polemics, outspoken style, Montanist. Why does he matter? He is called the father of theology, first major Latin writing historian, first person to use the term Trinity. Could you have a drink with him down the pub? Yes, but not to excess. And don't mention the Greeks. 3 in 1. Often called the father of theology, Tertullian, 160 to 225, was an African, born and educated in Carthage, a Roman colony in what is today Tunisia. That part of the world did not speak much Greek, so Tertullian was the first major theologian to write in Latin. It's probable that the first Latin-speaking church was in Carthage rather than in Rome. Rome, after all, was a city with high immigration, and Greek was still widely spoken, whereas Cyprian of Carthage, around 200 to 258, was the first to quote a Latin text. Writing in Latin was okay by Tertullian. He was no fan of either the Greek language or of Greek philosophy. He wasn't interested in making links between Christianity and Greek philosophy, such as those made by Justin. "What has Athens to do with Jerusalem?" he wrote, booting the whole concept into touch. He was a good booter. His writing is powerful, angry, outspoken. Church historian Philip Schaff said, "His polemics everywhere leave marks of blood. It is a wonder that he was not killed by the heathens or excommunicated by the Catholics." He was a professional rebel. Perhaps that explains why in the end he rebelled even against the Orthodox Church itself, becoming a champion of Montanism. We don't know when this happened. One account has it that he was present at the council where Montanism was condemned, and was so angry at the decision he walked out and signed up with the Montanists straight away, which sounds like Tertullian. He was the kind of writer who really needs an opponent. His writing takes on a range of enemies, including supporters of Marcion, advocates of infant baptism, and in general anyone he suspected of collaborating with the empire. Perhaps his most influential idea occurs in a typically abusive pamphlet where he's laying into a Christian from Asia Minor called Praxias, whom Tertullian describes as being inflated with pride simply because he spent a bit of time in prison. Praxias was proposing an idea known as monarchianism. Praxias saw no division between the Father, Son and Holy Spirit. They were all essentially one being. God was like a Greek or Roman actor. He might appear on stage wearing a different mask, Jesus, God, or the Holy Spirit, but it's still the same actor. The Latin word for the actor's mask was persona, and from this we get the word person. Thus, the Godhead was one being wearing three personas, three masks. Tertullian argued that the Father, Son and Holy Spirit were distinct from each other, although they shared the same substance. "These three are one substance, not one person. And it is said, I and my Father are one, in respect not of the singularity of number, but the unity of the substance. The very names Father and Son indicate the distinction of personality. The Father is one, the Son is one, and the Spirit is one." In arguing this, he is the first person to use the term Trinitas, threeness, from which we get our concept of the Trinity. Tertullian was a stern, even conservative thinker, but he had real issues to engage with. In 202, there were anti-Christian riots in Carthage, and some Christians were imprisoned. These included a young noblewoman called Vibia Perpetua and her slave Felicitas. Perpetua had a baby, whom she was forced to abandon. But then the jailer relented, and she was allowed the baby with her in prison. Her father begged her to renounce the faith, but she refused. Felicitas was pregnant, and even the Romans balked at executing a pregnant woman. But once she delivered her child, the two women were taken out into the arena. They were gored by bulls, and in the end had to be dispatched by gladiators. But what struck the crowd was that, before their deaths, the two women, from different social classes, embraced like sisters. In the face of such persecution, Tertullian wrote a passionate defence of Christian belief and conduct, and he warned that Christianity could not be defeated in this way. "Your cruelty, however great, is a better advertisement for us than for you. The more you mow us down, the more we grow. The blood of Christians is seed. As well as his writings, Tertullian left another legacy in the form of a tiny Christian sect who called themselves the Tertullianisti. They lasted about 100 years after his death, before being quietly absorbed back into the church in Carthage in the late 4th century. They are probably a pretty grumpy little group. In many ways, I'd have felt at home among them. Bye for now.